The good news, Ridley Scott is bringing out a movie on the life of Napoleon Bonaparte, and it looks like from the trailer that it's going to be pretty amazing. The bad news is I think it's going to revive a rather silly myth about Napoleon having blasted the nose off the Sphinx in Egypt. All of this plays to a very widely held view that Napoleon deliberately destroyed the nose on the Sphinx to hide the true African identity of ancient Egypt. But there isn't any evidence to support this whatsoever. And yet every week on Twitter, I see this myth popping up again and again. Now, to be clear, I'm a huge believer in restoring diversity to history. I've just made a film about African American cowboys, which you can view on the channel. So I don't have a problem with the idea that colonialism and imperialism equaled racism. I even spoke favourably about the recent Netflix series on Cleopatra and her African identity and the fact that she wasn't, by any stretch of the imagination, 100% Greek. But it's also important that we stick to the facts, otherwise we undermine our own arguments. And the idea that Napoleon was a white supremacist out to mask the African identity of ancient Egypt and that he blasted the nose off the Sphinx, this is not true. Napoleon was fascinated by ancient Egypt. He undoubtedly saw himself as a bit of a modern pharaoh, and when he set about invading the country on behalf of France in 1798, he took with him engineers, artists, all sorts of experts to record the monuments and as well the flora and fauna of Egypt. He set up the Institute of Egypt, which he himself was vice president of, and this recorded the culture of ancient Egypt. And Napoleon was in awe of the achievements of the pharaohs. He often berated his own soldiers, telling them to look to the glory of the pyramids and to emulate that on behalf of France. So where does this story come from? Well, I think in recent years it emanated from the 1995 Million Man March, which was a well-intentioned demonstration by young black males in the United States to push back against racist stereotypes. But it was addressed by the Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, who made a particularly incendiary comment about the Sphinx. He said that white supremacy caused Napoleon to blow the nose off the Sphinx. But there just is no evidence that this happened, nor that Napoleon fought any battles near the pyramids, nor that he directed anybody to shoot at these monuments. The real culprit was more than likely a Sufi Muslim mystic in the 14th century who was enforcing his brand of Islam in the area. According to a Muslim chronicler in the following century, this Sufi mystic called Muhammad Saim al-Dar was appalled to discover that peasants were still worshipping the Sphinx. Why? They wanted the Sphinx to deliver good harvests and to ensure that the Nile flooded, which brought fertile soil to their farms. He decided that he had to prove to the local peasantry that the Sphinx had no magical powers, that it was not a god. So he climbed up onto its head and hacked its nose off. Well, far from thanking him, the local peasantry waited for the Sufi mystic to come back down and promptly executed him. This smashing up of idols, of stone idols, is something that both Muslim and Christian zealots had done for hundreds of years, so it's not that unusual. But what I'd ask you to do is to stop blaming Napoleon. He didn't do it. He may have had many faults, but blasting the nose of the Sphinx is not one of his faults. I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. I love Ridley Scott's stuff, Gladiator, Kingdom of Heaven. I'm sure this is going to be fantastic. I'm just going to shut my eyes when that part of the movie arises. However, if you have any views for or against, if you really think Napoleon did that, come and tell me, come and prove it to me. I'm all ears and nose. So Until next time, thank you and goodbye, and do remember to subscribe.